It is never just a football game when England and Argentina face off, especially when a place in the FIFA World Cup final is on the line. Two footballing giants, two proud footballing nations, and one rivalry that has never needed any introduction. The two sides met at a major tournament for the first time in 24 years. And from the very first whistle, it felt like they were trying to settle decades of history all over again. But by the end of the night, it wasn't just superior football that made the difference. It was also the mindset. A mindset of a team that simply refused to give up. The build-up to England versus Argentina had every ingredient of a World Cup classic. It had history, pressure, emotion, and a rivalry capable of stopping the footballing world in its tracks. Security around the stadium was tightened. Fans arrived hours before kickoff. The atmosphere was electric long before either of the teams walked onto the pitch, because everyone knew it was England versus Argentina. Both teams had traveled remarkably similar paths to get here. Both arrived unbeaten, but neither looked unbeatable. England had survived difficult moments. Argentina had done the same. Both stumbled through phases of the group stage. Both were forced to dig deep in the knockouts, and perhaps that made them even more dangerous here. Music greater than because they had already learned how to suffer. Then came the noise away from the pitch. England arrived carrying fresh questions about dressing room harmony. Thomas Tuchel's criticism, Jude Bellingham's response. The endless debate over whether England's biggest enemy was themselves. Argentina, meanwhile, had spent days dismissing allegations of favorable refereeing. Every press conference felt like a courtroom. Yet, despite all that, the defending champions looked very, very calm, almost as though they had learned to treat criticism as surround sound. Inside the Argentine camp, belief was mixed with superstition. Argentina abandoned their famous sky blue, and white stripes. Instead, they chose the dark blue third kit. As an ode to history, it was in fact the shirt they wore. When Diego Maradona inspired one of football's most famous victories over England in the year 1986. It returned during another memorable chapter in 1998. Even the supporters embraced the folklore. Some tried to freeze England captain Harry Kane before kickoff. Music greater than another one of my rituals is freezing players from the country we are playing against, mainly the Stars. But once the whistle blew, superstitions disappeared. Only survival mattered. The semifinal quickly descended into chaos. Barely 3 minutes had passed before tempers boiled over. The football almost became a bit of a secondary act here. There were confrontations, late tackles, players surrounding the referee, pushing, shoving, constant face-offs. Every restart carried another flashpoint. The opening 45 minutes resembled a heavyweight boxing contest, not a football game. And it was a battle of will, a test of character, a fight to see which team would blink first. Music greater than the match found its first defining moment. Anthony Gordon broke the deadlock. England erupted. Argentina stood stunned. England suddenly had one foot in that World Cup final. The pressure shifted completely. For a few minutes there, genuinely felt like Lionel Messi's World Cup dream was indeed slipping away. But champions don't panic when musically are pushed back or they're in a corner. They respond, and they respond with a lot of clarity, with a sense of resilience. And that's exactly what Argentina did. Instead of chasing the game emotionally, they trusted themselves. They trusted each other. More importantly, they trusted the process that had carried them this far into this tournament. Because this wasn't unfamiliar territory. They had been here before, exactly behind the goal line. Against Egypt, Argentina had fallen 2 goals behind. And now against England, once again, they stared adversity in the face. The comeback wasn't built on individual brilliance. It was built on collective belief. Every tackle, every interception, every run, every second ball. It was 11 players pulling in exactly the same direction, being relentless and attacking constantly. Music greater than just look at those celebrations very, very closely. You can sense what this meant to that entire bunch. Those aren't the celebrations of a team believed to survive. They're the celebrations of a team that expected themselves to survive. That's the difference here. Pressure doesn't consume this Argentina side. It fuels them. Falling behind doesn't create panic. It creates purpose. Criticism doesn't weaken. It strengthens them. That mentality has become, in fact, the heartbeat of Lionel Scaloni's team. Because somewhere along the way, Argentina stopped measuring themselves by the scorelines, or by how well they played a game against an opponent. They started measuring themselves by resilience. And that resilience has now carried them into yet another World Cup final. Every champion has a defining quality. Brazil had flair. Germany had efficiency. Spain has mastered possession. This Argentina side has mastered a desire to never quit, no matter the opponent, no matter the scoreline, or the occasion. They simply refuse to accept that a match is over until the final whistle blows. And perhaps that's why they remain so dangerous. England won the opening battle, but Argentina won the war. Now, only one challenge remains: Spain. One final hurdle. 90 minutes separating Lionel Messi and Argentina from a historic back-to-back FIFA World Cup title. The world moves fast. Power shifts. Unexpected developments. Music-changing alliances. Every day brings a new headline. But headlines are only the beginning, because behind every story, music, there's context. There are consequences, and there are questions worth asking. Find the music answers. Understand the story. Take on the world. This is him, Course for First Post Vantage. Big shifts don't announce themselves. They arrive as updates, version numbers, a quietly changed headline. But zoom out and you see. The way we work is being rewritten. Cars are turning into software. Your phone already knows what you'll ask before you do. These aren't trends or hype. They're ripples. Small, quiet moments that spread until the whole surface has changed. This is Ripple, an explicable series around tech, auto, and AI within the where we explain the future using the past and the present before it feels like